go for refuge until my enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become the Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become the Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye Joda Zoge Jonam Na Chanju Badu Dane Gyapsuch Page Jinsoge Be Sonamge Jola Benjir Sanye Dubaresho Sanye Joda Zoge Jonam Na Chanju Badu Dane Gyapsuch Page Jinsoge Be Sonamge Jola Benjir Sanye Dubaresho Sanje Joda Soge Chonam Na Chanjo Bardo Dane Gyapsuch Dage Jinso Kebe Sonam Ge Jola Pengir Sanje Jubaresho. Okay. So the first one is remembering all beings as one's mothers. So here, this is how we need to reflect on how all beings have been your mothers in this life. We have to go step by step. In this life, we have a mother. In the former life, again another. So this is how we go. And whereas for the time being, if you find this a little difficult, you can do the method for equalizing and exchanging for others. You can do that. Whereas for those who don't find it the difficult, you can do this as well, the sinful method. The point is that you should see that your compassion is growing, and that you become a happier person. That is the goal. And whereas simply because of one reason, okay, it doesn't really resonate with my thinking. If you stop it, and then you are in a way like you are stopping yourself from growing happiness, and you are depriving yourself of these amazing experiences of compassion. Okay, so for that matter, you have to do something if you really want to make sure that you become a happier person, or you want to see that what is the experience like to be compassionate. Okay. And but this is how we just keep on thinking, and then we see that time, and there's no beginning to time, because there's no beginning to our existence as samsaric beings, and that we have been in samsara all the time, and every time we're in samsara, except when you take birth in the formless realm, otherwise in the desire realm, wherever we be, most likely we took birth in the desire realm. But of course, all of us, no doubt, we have taken birth in the formless realms in the earlier times, in the earlier lifetimes, for which we need very deep samadhi, meditative concentration experience. But mostly we are in the desire realm. The human realm, animal realm, honeybows, hell beings, god and goddesses, asuras, so among the realms. So there we see that there is, every time we take birth, there is the mother is involved, or father is involved. Then there's some siblings there, somebody who takes care of you, these things are always there. So think of these, and then think of the number, how many times, once, twice, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, million times, infinite number of times. And even that, not only just that I had the infinite number of the mothers, but one person, in terms of the time, we see the one person was a mother in this life, this same mother had been mother infinite number of times. Or somebody who's your father, infinite number of times. As a brother, infinite number of times. Sister, somebody who's so loving, caring, infinite number of times. So, one, infinite the beings involved, and then one person, infinitely involved. So this is how we need to reflect on to make it rich experience. Okay, so number 2. What is number 2? Remembering the kindness. And every time that just thinking of the kindness of somebody like your mother or father, brother, sisters, or somebody who's so loving and caring, and it will just make you feel like crying. This is extremely, extremely beautiful. Just remember the kindness. Remember the kindness, and remember how vulnerable you were when you were age 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and how much love that they gave you. And in fact, I would say that I'm sure most of you still have your mother and father. Just say, raise hands those who have both the father and mother, raise hands, alive today. Okay, I don't have. Now raise hands those who have one of the two, at least one of the two alive, raise hands. Including those both plus the one of them. Okay. And okay, people like me who do not have the parents anymore with us, raise hands. Okay. So who had experience of being with the father or mother, at least till the age 5, no, till the age 10, raise hands. At least till the age 10, I had the experience of being with my father or mother or both, whatever, raise hands. Okay, I never had the experience of being with my father and mother, say till, meaning like till age 8, till age 10, no experience. Okay. You were with your mother? Huh? No? You have no mother?
Me?
No, he's there. Silly.
My mother separated from my father. Then both of them just abandoned us.
What time?
Maybe like younger than 4.
Okay. So these are the rare situations that, yes, it does happen. It's not because of disliking towards the parents. It's because of disliking towards the children. It's because of the conflicts between the couple, right? And then some factors involved there. But the point is that we are not to feel any feeling of say anger, disliking, and so forth. Just to be very neutral. And later on, when your compassion grows, then you will feel that everyone deserves your compassion. Everyone, you will feel it. And then I have my own personal stories, very interesting stories. You remember? I said, may I become Buddha for all sentients except for this person. You remember that?
Yes.
Yes. Then later on, I just really feel that it's all because of the teachings of Buddha that, I become a happier person. That's for sure. That's for sure. Not because that, for any other reason. It's all because of the meeting with the Buddha's teachings and the following his footsteps to the best I can, that I'm becoming happier. Now, even that person, except for this person, if that person, I don't feel any grudge. Instead of not feeling grudge, I feel so sympathetic when I see that somebody else shows disliking to this person. I really just feel like supporting, defending this person. So this is what's coming. It's all because of the teachings of Buddha. Yeah. So this will happen. This happened to us. This is why oftentimes I call this Bodhicitta retreat as a system or as the phase which will help us to transcend the ordinary thinking. What is ordinary thinking? Ordinary thinking is look around, people around you. When you want to do something and your mother says that, oh, give me the mobile to me. You don't do that. Or, come on time, right? It's already 6 o'clock, you are still late. Then you feel so angry, it builds up, and then you start to hate your mother. So this all because the mother's love towards you, and you don't interpret that as mother's love, you interpret that as your obstacle to your enjoying your life. So this is, failing to see the mother's love. So what I'm saying is that this is an ordinary person. So whereas what is an evolved person? Evolved person means that see the same situation and you interpret that as a feeling of love. Who will worry about me? The neighbors will not worry about me. If you don't come at 6 o'clock, the neighbors will not call you. Right? Hey, it's already 6 o'clock. Don't be late. Come. Nobody will. Even if they know that you're coming at 1 o'clock, they don't care. Right? But your mother cares. Your father cares. It's all out of love. Be able to see that. You don't interpret it in the wrong way. You have to interpret it positively. So then you will realize that this is so precious. There's somebody who cares for me. They're so precious. Okay. And that can happen through the practice, through reflecting more on these. It simply represents the mother's love, not the mother's disliking me, mother wanting me not to enjoy. No. It's a mother's love, it's a father's love that you're going into a very dangerous path. And you can end up into, for example, let's say that somebody has a tremendous potential and always hanging after the mobile. Game, days, nights, game. Your brain is tired. Your brain doesn't have the capacity to then absorb what you are learning in the school. And this is what your parents are stopping you. Don't do that. Your brain needs rest. You have to shine in your life and interpret that positively. Don't interpret that negatively. Don't be short-sighted. Be far-sighted. This is what we require to be to do. So reflecting on the kindness of others as your mothers or as your fathers, your brothers, sisters, somebody who really takes care of you. Again, you reflect on these moments. These moments are so beautiful, and how particularly for me, if you ask me, oftentimes people ask me, Geshe, you travel a lot to different places, which is the best place, which is the best food? These are the most boring questions to me, to be very honest. Right? Most boring questions to me. What's your favorite place? What is your best food? Very boring. So whereas if you ask me, what is your favorite thing to do? I'll tell you one thing. What is that? No, don't make things boring. Bodhicitta, emptiness, studying. Don't make things boring. Just sit there, sit confidentially, unaware of the others seeing me. I'm seeing you, the mother and the young tender child. The relation with the mother and the young tender. I can sit like this for hours and hours, just to appreciate the profundity of this love and affection. This love and affection, this is the one which decides whether you're happy or not. And ecstatic happiness also because of this magic of the love, magic of the affection. And to cultivate this, you require this wisdom. You require the wisdom. Therefore, the emptiness becomes very important. Because the emptiness will shatter the anger, shatter the ego. Ego, the anger is shattered, then it leaves room for a compassion. Compassion is the main. Emptiness is to support this compassion. So therefore, my favorite thing would be just to observe the dynamics between the mother and the young tender child. How the mother gives love and affection. How the mother sacrifices everything for the child. And then what is the most boring thing to do is to see the child growing up. Child becoming age 16, 17, 18, and then fighting with the mother. That is the thing which really irritates me. It really makes me, no, I cannot accept it. I've seen this child, how the mother sacrificed everything for the child. And now today, this is what I'm seeing, where the child is just ignoring, fighting, complaining of the mother. This is what I cannot tolerate. But the most beautiful moment is to see this young child, age 4 or 5, so vulnerable, and the mother loves the child so much, and the child reciprocates with so much love and affection from the mother. This is the most beautiful thing. Okay. If you think like this, then the kindness of the mothers is amazing. Generally speaking, for most of us, kindness of mother is amazing. For except a few people who did not get opportunity, that the mother is able to give love and affection to you at such a young tender child, young tender age, that is exception. Otherwise, so even for you, there's somebody who you feel as your son, as your daughter, as your, the father, mother, brother, sister, and so forth, whosoever gives you so much love and affection. This is what you've experienced so many times in the past. So think of these every time. For example, You may say, oh no, I know that my mom is so good, but I don't agree with this neighbor. He can't be my mother in my past lives. Look at this, very nasty. So look, in our life is very, very unpredictable. Somebody who can be like the worst of your enemy can become the best of friends in the next part of your life. You agree with me? Sometimes you see that you just think of the person, it simply boils you inside, right? It irritates you just to think of this person. Hear this person's voice, it simply irritates you, right? Something happens inside. And somebody talks about that person, again something comes inside. That happens, strange. And you think that this person, no way I can feel close to this person. Then magically, maybe we never know, after a few years, suddenly there's a change there, and you feel so close to this person. It's so like two of you like the brothers and sisters. Such things happen. Can you imagine such thing can happen? Or did it happen to you in one part, some in your life? Yes, it does happen. It does happen. In my life also it happened. When I was in my 20s, 21, 22, say in my class, in IBD, there was one monk, my classmate, and our thinking is very different. Two of us, our thinking is very different. Simply we diverge in our thinking, and therefore say that we don't really click, two of us, like same age. We don't really click. Then after 1 or 2 years, I was in Drepung monastery for 2 months holiday there. And in the holidays of IBD, I go to Drepung to study more. And my friend, who came for holiday, not for Drepung studies, holiday, in his relative's place close to Drepung. And then our teacher, our common teacher, the principal, Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdul, he happened to visit the Drepung. And he is a very tough teacher. What do you call it? There's one English expression, tough compassion. Right? Tough love. This is what he demonstrates, our teacher. Tough love. Deep inside, it's amazing, profoundly loving, but you will never see him expressing it. Outside is very tough. So, I went there for studies. And this teacher is extremely smart, a brilliant philosopher, logician, psychologist, and extremely tender inside, extremely loving, but he will never express it to you. You get a feeling that if you're not, I wouldn't say smart, if you don't feel if you can read him well, then you may think that he's very tough. And I went there for my studies. So my teacher was there in the same monastery, and then he knew that I was studying. And the other monk, my classmate, he was for holiday. And my teacher called him. From his holiday, called him. What are you doing? This is his expression. What are you doing? Sir, I'm just on holiday. What a holiday? Right? So you are here. What are you doing at home? What are you doing? Come to the monastery. In the monastery, you teach Tibetan to the newcomers from Tibet. Then he would say, yes, sir. So he has to come all the way from the village, Tibetan village, cycling in the scorching sun every day to teach Tibetan language to the Tibetans young monks from the monastery. It was from Tibet. And it was, he had no place to rest. Just to give a class and supposed to go back. And what about his lunch, dinner, lunch, tea? Nothing, no plan. Just teach, that's what. And then but how can he go just for tea? How would go back to his uncle's place, again cycling under the scorching sun? So the only safe haven is me. I was there. So he would come to my place and I would call him, give him tea. give him tea, and he can rest there. And sometimes he comes earlier. He comes earlier, and he does not have any place to rest. And all the students will come at one time together, and otherwise they will all separate. And then he would come to, and then he would stay at my place. He would rest, he would have tea, and even after class, if it's too hot, he would again come to my place, rest there. So we became extremely close. Extremely close. You wouldn't believe. Extremely close. And then I realized, wow, that's amazing. What the Buddha taught, that somebody with whom you have such a sour relationship, at a certain point, it's a matter of time. You can change it and you become such extremely close friends. Whereas on the other hand, someone who's so close, and at one point you can become the deadliest of the enemies. It's also possible. Within the same lifetime. So even though you may feel that your neighbor is hopelessly selfish, not to consider me, but in the former lifetimes, we never know. He must have been your mother, when he was so selfishly working for you, right? Selfishly working for you, meaning that disregarding everybody else and just protecting you, giving you all the love and affection to you, just protect you, right? We never know. So this is what was demonstrated by, in fact, there were two sources, the same, and there is a kind of anecdote. Some say it was Shariputra, some say it is Papa Tatul. Said it was the Arhat. Arhat, when he was going for alms round, he noticed something. He noticed a mother cuddling a newborn child. Young mother cuddling a newborn child and eating a fish and beating at the dog, the family dog. Family dogs expecting that that this lady will give some fish what she's eating. He was expecting this, and the lady was angry and beating the dog and eating the fish and cutting the newborn child. So this Arhat, what he said, he just looked at this and he saw the past lives. And he said, he uttered this verse. He said that, look at this. The daughter is holding the birth of the deadliest neighbor and eating the father's meat, father's flesh, and beating the mother and holding the deadliest enemy as her child. So this was what this Aras was saying, that this young girl, her father and mother passed away, and father took birth as the fish, and which she was eating now. And the mother took birth as a dog, which they came nearby her, expecting that she will get something to eat from the girl. And the neighbor, deadliest enemy, the neighbor, he died, and she took birth as her own child. And now she's cuddling this child with so much love and affection, and eating the father's flesh and beating the mother. And then the Arhat said that this is what samsara is, and I cannot control my feeling of remorse over the samsara. This is samsara. How unpredictable what the samsara is. So the point is that this being the case, we never know that somebody who is so nasty, but even in the history of humanity, like let's say the Hitler has his own children, has his own family, and he was protecting them. And where, if you are, let's say that somebody who's being the deadliest enemy of the Hitler, like the Jews, in your eyes he's just terrible, but in the eyes of his own children and his own family, he is so close. So we never know that today you are a Jew and in the past life you may be the child of Hitler. We never know. This is how unpredictable, there's no really hard and fast rule that if you're related to this, you will always be related. If you're enemy, you'll be always enemy. No, that's not guaranteed. So these are not at all guaranteed. So from this point of view, if we wholeheartedly feel that somebody loves you so much, so selflessly, then no conditions will be left for you not to feel loving to that person. This is the human psychology. So therefore our job is, rather than rationalize, yes, you rationalize to see that even this very nasty person, one time that I must have been his or her son or a daughter. And at that point, and even if he or she is so selfish, so selfishly protecting the family and discarding everyone else, but in the family I'm included. So must be, for example, oftentimes I associate this, say, the father who's a dacoit. And why the father became the dacoit was to feed the family. And the whole family, say, the child is there. And as the child grows, oh, you are a dacoit, I would say then he is very bad with respect to the community. But with respect to the child, if the child says you are a dacoit, the child is on the wrong side. Because why he became a dacoit is to feed you, to raise you. So for the child, he's extremely kind. He risks to lose his the image in the community to feed the child. So that the child should feel that he's like the God, the divine, the Buddha to protect him. So this is how, if you can really feel that, then you start feeling that there's somebody who's very nasty, you could feel his or her love, then automatically your mind will flow towards that person. This is how we should be able to put yourself in the shoes of that when you are the child of that person. Or you're the mother of that person. You're the father of this person, where you feel so much love and affection. You try to feel that. If you could feel that, that's your success. That the remaining steps will automatically flow. This is where you have to do. This human psychology. For example, usually example that I give is that it was when I must be age, I think 8 or 9, very young, and I was going from, say, the Dharamsala, where my father was living, to the Mehrgarh. In those days, there's no taxi. In those days, like I think almost 45 years ago, and on the bus, it was a very crude bus, a local bus. On the bus, I was sitting somewhere, and there was the laborer, and his son, and the laborer shabbily dressed, the shirts all torn, and then the son was just sitting in front of the father, and the laborer started to smoke, and behind me there were 2 or 3 huge muscled young men there. And they started to shout at this man who was so physically so weak with his little son, and said that, "Stop smoking," in Hindi. And the man, he could not do anything. What did he do? Already the cigarette in his hand. What did he do? He just stopped. And then because his son is there, he could not behave like a small child. For the son, he's a father. And then they do not shout anymore. And then again he take the next puff. Then they shouted again, "Stop it or we'll throw you out of the bus." I have nothing to do with this man or those men. I felt so angry towards those people. Yes, of course you can ask them, "Please stop smoking." But it's not how you treat somebody. There's a son there, there's a young child there. You at least respect the person. I felt so angry towards those people, who treat somebody as like a beast. I was so And myself, just like age, I think 7 or 8. And the boy was also like, I think 6 or 7, this little boy. And then again, he could not do anything. What do you do now? To throw this is behaving like you're surrendering to somebody, and in the next to your son, and then you take it, they can just begin throwing you out. And I was so, what to do? I was just a small kid. Otherwise, I would really drag these 3 boys, And I was so angry towards them. And then what happened? I was just observing the small child, because 2 of us more like small age, same age. I was just observing what the child is doing. And then the father was doing like this, getting like this. And the son, the little boy, he took out the cigarette from the father's hand, and he extinguished the fire and threw this like this. Seeing the small boy, my heart just shook with sympathy and compassion to this boy. How much pain this small child felt to see that his father, who he loved so much, is being bullied by somebody. I could feel the pain. So I said that if this is the amount of love that you feel towards somebody else, then do you feel any reason why you will feel angry towards that person? Never. Whatever the other person does, you will never feel angry. Because if this is intense love, this becomes unconditional love. So, how this child builds his love and affection. Because to see that over these many years, he's the one. No matter, he's poor, or weak, or healthy, whatever, but he's the one who is giving him the food. He's giving him the benefit. So this is how they build up this love. When you truly feel this love, it's so intense that nothing can really make you feel angry towards that person. That is extremely beautiful. So things that we have to feel that. When you feel that, automatically your mind will melt. Your mind will melt to think of the other person. You will just automatically see everything is beautiful. Oftentimes, what I described is that one time, one of my friends, she invited me for a meal. And then her husband, in fact, how we became close was that she must have been knowing me before, but her husband suffered from cancer in Canada, and then she asked me, what do you do? And I didn't know her, and I was quite puzzled. How come that, somebody is asking advice from me related to her husband who's going through suffering cancer, and that she herself is very educated. Both the husband was an engineer, and the wife very educated and well respected, and seeking my advice. I don't know her, and the husband, usually the men, they are more, there's a sense of ego pride there. Why should you listen to this person who's younger than me? Right? This is usually the thing. And then I gave some suggestion, and the husband readily listened to my suggestion. And then they came to India, and then she invited me for a meal to her place, and with the husband and the 2 little daughters. Then I entered their house, and I saw the wall dirtied by the pencil, color pencil, everywhere. I just so for me, right? Office, whatever, it should be really clean, orderly. It must be very orderly, right? It must be very orderly. What is this? They invited me for lunch. What is this? The wall very dirty by all these pencils. What do you call it? Crayons, and what are the pencils? Sketch pencils, right? And the red, blue, the black, right? Dirty. The wall was dirtied. And then they showed the seat to sit. I sat, and the mother came, and the mother said that this is a painting of my 2 daughters. It's not a painting. It's not a painting. No way, it's not a painting. But in the eyes of the mother, it's a painting. It's because of love. It's because of love. It's amazing. If you feel that, it's so beautiful. Instantly you will be in a very different world of ecstasy. And one time, there's one great teacher, really a great teacher. The philosophy, in Tibetan grammar, poetry, and his handwritings, they are just like machine typed, extremely beautiful. And he's such a big scholar, and his wife would tell me that you can do anything, he will not mind, but he does mind one thing, that is, anything that he receives from his little daughter, anything. So one day the daughter from far away, maybe she went for some holiday, and she sent a postcard, New Year postcard, to the two parents. And for him, it's not for his wife, it's for him. This comes from my daughter. And then he opened the card, and the card was, and every once in a while, this is what the wife was telling me. Every once in a while, he would ask the wife, "Where's that card? Where's the card?" And she would go to in search of the card, and this is the card. After the card, where's the envelope? And the envelope, she was from the dustbin. She would take it from the dustbin, and he would just keep it so close to his heart. And then, where's that small piece? Where's the small piece? Right? From the side, he cut it, a small piece, but where's the small piece? Again, she would go in search of that small piece. Everything is so precious for him. It's coming from his extremely affectionate, loving daughter, to whom he loves so much. Just imagine, these are the realities. These are not the fairy tale stories. These are realities. And people could really feel that. And you have been this small little girl, little boy, in the eyes of somebody who loves you so much. Everything that you do is so beautiful, right? Just imagine this love that you received. If you could just imagine something of this kind, then the beings, the people, other people, these are the people who really give me this love and affection. Wow. Anything the other person does is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. For example, let's say this, even this poster is kept like this. Who did it? Right? It's not properly done, but somebody who you love so much, he did it. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Right? So it says that so there's one extremely high profile person, and very precise, very particular, and extremely smart. So his attendants would make mistakes here and there. And then how come? Why did you say, where's the water? Why did you put it right from the beginning? Something wrong, He identifies that, and they would say that they would blame to one person by the name A. This person is somebody who he loves and respects so much. Not because he's afraid, because he loves and respects this person so much. And then instead everybody would say that he did it. Then the moment he did it, then he was just remain quiet. It's fine, right? So therefore, they say, look, so this flower, if you keep it like this, right? Don't you know it should go there, right? This is the problem. If you put it there, no, it's not necessary. It should be there. It should not be everything. Should be like square. No, the aesthetic is look outside. It's nice. Aesthetic is so beautiful, right? If you don't love it, what is this? You even don't know where it goes. You don't know that. It should be here. You don't know this. Come, put it back. right? If you love the person, right, it is there, it's nice, right? If you love the person, wow, you put it there, yes, this is the place where it goes. If it is there, wow, it's so aesthetic, so natural, right? It's outside so beautiful, right? And if there's somebody here, right? I don't know how to do it. Okay, listen. Somebody here, that's even nicer. It's so beautiful, right? So beautiful, amazing. Who did it? Right? You know who did it, right? It's so beautiful. Yeah, it's so beautiful. So the point is that where there's love and affection is there, everything is divine. Where the love and affection is missing, nothing is perfect. Right? One day I was so fascinated that was in Drepung Monastery, how a mind can really destroy you and how a mind can make you so happy. At the Buddha, this amazing Buddha is so extremely smart. What is that? He said is that your mind is your enemy, your mind is your friend. And it really resonates with me. One time, I was just sitting in my room, and from the window I could see the abbots, the monastery's abbot. Okay, there are so many abbots, so I'm not going to mention name. The abbot was newly building his house, his residence, and the building was already done. Small works are left. Last touch was left, and he was doing the last touch work, like the drainage. On the side of the drainage, you put the stones. He was doing it himself. He was the abbot of 3,000, 4,000 monks. He was sitting top of all these monks, highly respected. And when my mind, I was just in my 20s, my mind was just then. And of course he was not my teacher, but we have to respect him as the abbot. In my mind, the thought goes in two ways. One way that, he's an abbot. An abbot should, he could easily ask somebody to do it, or can hire a laborer and pay some money and work, and let him work. Why should he have to work? So there, the two thoughts came. The first negative thought was that he can't even want to pay a laborer. Very negative thought. Other very positive thought was that it's amazing. He's of such high profile, respect to everybody, and doing a manual work which somebody common person should be doing. And he just wanted the ego. He has that humility to do this. That's amazing. I was so I was just pulled between these two thoughts, positive and negative. Then I realized how your mind can be a best of your friend. To see positively, you will admire this person. When I admire somebody, what feeling does the feeling come? Good, pleasant, unpleasant. Very pleasant feeling comes. You're happy. Everybody seeks happiness, you're getting it. Whereas the same situation, you look at it very negatively, you can't even spare some money to hire a worker, right? It's so stingy. So when you say this, are you happy or not happy? Pleasant or unpleasant feeling? Unpleasant feeling comes, irritation comes. It's your mistake. You are feeling unhappy, you made it, right? Because of your own thinking. So then I was so fascinated. Wow, that's amazing. How a mind, if you train a mind, you can train a mind in such a way that everything is divine. If you don't train your mind, if you let the mind go unruly, the mind can really make you see everything mistake, and everything as a demon. The mind can make you suffer terribly. Okay, so this is how, if you can really think about the moments of the people, how they've been so kind, loving in this life, in the former lives, and so forth. The more you think of how the people have been so loving, you just feel like crying. Then your mind automatically expands in your compassion, expands, anger subsides, ego subsides. This is amazing. More the compassionate, less the ego. This is what I noticed. when I was again aged, I must be aged 8 or 9, in school, this is school. There, school teacher and school children, there's a huge gap in terms of, say, how you respect. So, from distance I could see one school teacher, one small boy who must be aged 5, and I must be aged 8, and this little boy just like me, and the other was a teacher, and I could still remember the long stairs, long stairs there, and the teacher was in the middle of the stage just standing, and the boy was sitting 2 steps higher and leaning his arm on the teacher's shoulder. I couldn't believe my eyes that this is not what we can see otherwise. And the teacher had no ego. That this good boy, he was just leaning his arm against the teacher, and the teacher, he doesn't mind. He was just sitting like this, very normal. Wow, no ego there. You don't feel offended that there's somebody, the school child was just leaning against you like this, and you have no ego. That's amazing. I was so fascinated. So now I can relate this. Where you feel the love and affection, your ego is gone. Your ego is gone. It's beautiful. So whatever the other person does, your ego is not affected. When ego is not, your ego is the one which really destroys your peace of mind. With the ego, anything which goes against your wish, the ego is there, you will see something wrong there. Then your mind is irritated. Okay, so ego destroys everything. Okay, so this is how we have to remember the kindness of other beings. You try to relate these experiences which you had actually encountered in your life, you have seen, you have read, and you have heard, these being in your meditation. In fact, I have so many of such anecdotes. One was on a train. On a train, I must be in my 20s, coming from South India to Dharamsala to receive teaching from His Holiness. And on the train, there was the couple, Indian couple, and a young boy. It's amazing. And 4 of us, we are in one small compartment. 4 of us. And I was just observing 3 of them. The dynamics is beautiful. And the mother sat on the window side. Mother meaning a young lady sat on the window side. And the husband was next to the mother, not on the window side, on the aisle side. And the boy was sitting on the other side, the other window, opposite to the mother. And I was just observing. I was sitting next to the boy. I was just observing the dynamics between the 3. The father, mother, and the son. And the son was a little mischievous. And the father would say, "Hey boy," and instantly he becomes a little stiff, like this. And the mother would say, "Hey Mr. A, I want this." And the father would instantly become like this. "Yes, what do you want? Yes, what do you want? I want this." "Yes." He would instantly go to open the bag and take out whatever the mother says. And the boy wants something, boy will never ask the father. Boy will tell the mother, "Mom." And the mother says, "Yes, my son." And the mother's always there to say, "Yes, my son." Always there for the son. I was so fascinated. Son was under the domination of the father. The father was under domination of the mother. And the mother was under domination of the son. Right? And the son was under domination of the father. Why? Because he's scared of the father. Okay, fine. And the father was under domination of the mother. That reason I don't know.
And the mothers are the domination of the son purely because of love, not because that the son is just like 4 or 5 years old. For the son cannot be the mother, right? It's purely because of the love and affection. It's beautiful. It's amazing. This sort of thing is amazing. And another thing, again, a similar thing from Ladakh. From Ladakh, again, the father, mother, and a young boy. Again, on train. There was in different year. And the mother was telling the son. That son must be age, I think about 8 or 9. Mother was telling the son, son, tell me, we're going to sleep. The down or up. There are only between two of them, only 2 beds are there on train. Son, where do you want to sleep? Down or up? And he said that, and I was on the other side. I was just hearing all these things. And that was my favorite thing to do. I was just listening. And the mother said, son, where do you want to sleep? And he said, I'll sleep out. And the mother said, I'll come to sleep with you. And he said, no. And the father said, I'll come to sleep with you. He said, no. Which means he wants 1 bed for himself. And the father and mother, 2 of them, 2 huge guys, in a very narrow bed, 2 of them should be together. The mother on the one side, the father on the other side. And the little boy was just covering the entire bed. And the father said, no. And the mother said, shut up. Right? But the child says, the father says, no. The mother said, shut up. And the father shut up. And then the mother said, and the father's name, I so well remember, Sonam. Right? And that was many years ago. I think perhaps 25 years ago. The father's name was Sonam. And the mother would just, now in the down, the mother was the boss, because the real boss was up. now down, she's free. She's in a very relaxed state. She would say, Sonam. Right? Sonam is the husband. Right? And Sonam would say, yes. Right? Okay. And we would say that, okay, our son, he needs to take the medicines. And the father would say, yes. And he would take. He doesn't know where the medicines are. And mother exactly knows where the medicines are. Right? And Sonam would say that, the husband would say that, I can't find the medicines. No, you put it, you search this side. This side, in this, you go like this, down there, this, there. She exactly knows where the medicine is. And the medicine taken out. And the son is a little mischievous. The father says, hey, boy, be careful, don't be mischievous. And the boy is very quiet. The boy is very quiet. And when he wants to complain, he will say, Mom. The mother says, yes, yes. Then the father, he would just sat on the other side. The mother was here relaxing, while son was up there. And the mother was not really talking to the father at all. Only when related to son, she would ask the husband. Otherwise, then he would say, hey son, do you want to eat something? Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Right? If the son says yes, he would say Sonam. But Sonam will never ask the son whether you're hungry, thirsty. The mother is worried about but the mother will make the husband do it. Husband do it. But to make sure that her son is taken care of. Right? This is amazing. Again, the same thing. Why the son doesn't talk to the father? Because he's scared of the father. Why the husband is so obedient to the mother, that I don't know. And why the mother is always worrying about the son because of her love. This is how we receive love and affection from the mothers. It's so, so precious. Okay, so remember the kindness of all the beings as one's mothers. Think of these. And that too, you try to relate this not only to your mother all the time, but also to the other people. Once when he was my mother, once when she was my mother, once when this difficult person was my mother. This is how we should be able to relate it. Okay, what's next? Remembering the kindness. That's done. Repaying. repaying kindness. So what happens is that this is what we have to learn. When we think of the kindness of others, naturally your mind flows. When your mind flows towards that person, what happens is that you become more courageous to work for that person, to work for this person, to stand for this person. You become more courageous. And not only that, you become more courageous naturally, you have to deliberately cultivate it. That I will repay the kindness of all my mothers. I will repay the kindness of all the mothers. You have to deliberately make this commitment so that this experience of wanting to repay the kindness of others will be expedited. This is very important. You have to make this commitment. Again, it's a matter of making commitment. What's next? Seeing beings in a light of great affection. So when you feel so loving towards others and when you feel like repaying their kindness, then automatically you start to see the other person is very different, is so beautiful, is so elegant. Okay, so with this I'd like to share one anecdote which one of my friends in Mumbai, when we did the first retreat in Punesala, there was one gentleman from Mumbai who joined us for this retreat. And when I was sharing this, seeing beings in the light of great affection, how the mothers, they feel so, how they see the child is so beautiful. And when I was sharing this, he said, Geshe, can I interrupt you for 1 second? I said, yes. And he said one thing, okay, let's all listen to this, what he said. He said that what he said is very true. In fact, there's a saying which goes that in this world, there's only one most beautiful baby, and all the mothers have it. It means, who is that baby? You. Each one of us. When we were that young, tender child, in the mother's eyes, you are the most beautiful baby. My father would describe, when I must be, I think, after completion of my high school, when I was in IBD, then sometimes I used to walk with my father from his place to the temple in Dharamsala. And on the way, he would share some of these anecdotes. He would say that when you were just a few days old, your mother, how she would see, she would always scold me, meaning my father, related to me, saying that, my son, my son, my son. This was always what she has in her mind, my son, my son. She always became so panicked because I was extremely, extremely ill, sick those days. Just a few days after birth, I was terribly sick. And mother was always worrying about you. This is what my father used to tell me. Okay. So then, this says, how if you can really imagine these things, this is beautiful. Then naturally your mind will flow towards the beings. Your ego subsides, your anger subsides, compassion expands. So, and in fact, this actually happened to me in my own real life. I must be again age 12 or 13, and in the school, there was all in the school, teaching the school up there, and my classmates, I don't know, they are more updated with the current affairs, and I was totally what do you call it? Not laid back, not really laid back. I'm more like outdated person, right? And they're all updated. And they're saying that, Richard Gere. Who's Richard Gere? It's not Richard Gere, actually Richard Gere. Right? And we're all small children. They must have seen this letter, G-E-R-E, Gere. So Richard Gere. So they said, oh, there's Richard Gere. And I said, what is Richard Gere? I also should be like them, What is Richard Gere? He said, you don't know? No, Richard Gere, I don't know. He said, he's a very famous actor, Hollywood actor. So I don't know, even Hollywood, yes, I heard about it, but then what is Richard Gere, I don't know. So they were all running. So I also ran with them. Not knowing what they're doing. So I also ran with them. Richard Gere. They to me, I got the impression as well, like he must be like, say somebody radiated with light. And finally, they stopped and said, there, Richard Gere. I don't, just one man there. And then he turned his face. He's just a normal person. There's nothing really there. Why? Oh, he's a very famous, very handsome, most handsome actor in Hollywood. No, I couldn't. My father is more handsome than him. My father is more handsome. Why making fuss of this man? So that was when I was age 11 or 12. And then I was on the verge to complete my high school, like now age 17. And then I was with my aunt, an aunt who was sharing with me about, again, my mother's family, my father's family, and so forth. And she said that your father has 7 siblings. And your father is the eldest. Yes, I know that he has 7 siblings, he's the eldest. Yes. And she said that out of the 7 siblings, your father is the ugliest. I could not believe what she was saying. And in my eyes, he was the most handsome person in the world, more handsome than Richard Gere. Richard Gere, he was just in his 20s, at the peak of his youth, and so popular all over the world. Everybody was craving to see this Richard Gere. And my father he must be in his 40s. What is the 40s? But I see him as the most handsome person in the world. And this auntie is saying that he's the most ugliest person in his siblings. And then when I studied this Bodhicitta, seeing beings in a light of great affection, when you really love somebody, you can see the person very handsome, very beautiful. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so this is how when you feel this love and affection, then you see anybody as extremely loving and in the glow of affection, the glow of beauty, glow of smartness. This is what you can see. What's next? Great compassion. Okay, so when you reach to that level of seeing other beings in the light of great affection, the way the mother sees her only child, then when you see them in the plight of the suffering, naturally this love and affection will manifest in the form of compassion. May you be freed from suffering. So it is known as great compassion because it is not confined to one person, but all the sentient beings. May all the dear sentient beings be freed from suffering. So this great compassion is explicitly taught, and the great loving kindness is implicitly taught. So these two things should go hand in hand. Where you see that all these beings who you love so much, when they're deprived of happiness, you wish that may you all have the happiness and cause the happiness. So these two things should go together. This is the great compassion or the great loving kindness. What's next? Altruism. Now, you said that may you all be free from suffering and cause of suffering. Who's going to do that? I will do it. Again, you have to make the commitment. I will take the responsibility that all beings are free from suffering and that all beings are endowed with happiness. I'll take the responsibility. So you wholeheartedly try to think of this, and then in your real life situation, and for example, like you hear about Ukraine war, saying, of course I cannot do anything, but at least don't remain passive. Mentally be proactive. Think of where things are going wrong. Putin, why is with this? Because of his the greed. Because the greed for the power, the greed for the expansionism and so forth. Why this? Because of these factors. How can I change his thinking? How can I change then you think like this, although you cannot do anything right now. But think of this, and then see where all these problems lie. All the politicians, right? Most of them are fighting for their seat. For them, their seat is number one, and the next is the nation, national interest. That comes second. Their seat is number one. In most cases of the politicians. So, when you see this, then they say, where do things go wrong? Only when you say that I will take the responsibility that all beings are free from suffering, all beings have the happiness, then although you cannot do anything with, for example, Ukraine war or anything in the world, like the Sri Lanka crisis and so forth, at least you proactively think where things are going wrong, where are the things going wrong. Just try to read the materials, where the things going wrong. Not just that this person is in a scandal, this person is in the corruption. Instead of that, why this corruption happened, why the government couldn't, why the constitution cannot control this, why, where did things go wrong, all right? So you just keep exploring, and meanwhile your intelligence will grow, your knowledge will grow, and your sense of responsibility will grow. Then you come to realize that, okay, these are all the problems of the human psychology. Selfishness, self-centered attitude. And how to fix it? You cannot make everybody Buddhist. How to fix it? This question. So His Holiness the Dalai Lama came up with a brilliant idea, universal ethics, to educate the young people of heart. This is what His Holiness, this is why he's so great. He thought about all these things. So now, how I can do to promote his vision of the universal ethics to the world. Right? Take initiative. Whatever you made, you talk about this, universal ethics, which His Holiness has taught for the world. Think about this. It's not that His Holiness said, therefore I'm saying this. No. You think about where lies the problem with all these complications happening in the world. Why the domestic violence? Why this gender discrimination is happening? Why this abuse of the power? Why the Amazon forest, the fire is happening? Why? And why, how this KFC and all these things, when you think about all these things, then you see there is the human psychology, how to fix this human psychology. So the modern education plays a very important role, and that could not fix the human psychology. So why? Because this is when His Holiness the Dalai Lama said that the modern education is lacking the curriculum for developing your heart. So this to be added. So think of this, then it will boil down to His Holiness's visions as a great legacy for the world, the panacea for the world. So not because that His Holiness said, therefore it must be very important. No, you think about it and you see that the solution lies in what His Holiness said. Then what His Holiness said becomes very valuable for us. What I've been thinking, this is what His Holiness he has already thought of these things way ahead of time. And then you see that he is the leader who really thinks of the world. Imagine that this world is filled with the leaders like him. The world can save trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars from the warfares. Save them and spend on education, healthcare, and the social welfare. Okay, so this is the taking responsibility. So even if something is going wrong in the world on the international level, although you as just an ordinary person, you cannot do anything. But don't remain passive, mentally remain active. Just see why things are going wrong there. Now there is world of internet. Don't just keep hang out the games. It is very stupid. Instead, read materials. Why the Putin is getting such a power? How come? It's not that he said that I'll become I'll become the unmovable the leader. Xi Jinping, how he became this? According to the constitution of, even this crooked constitution of CP, what is that? Huh? CCP. Right? What is that? CCP. What is CCP? Chinese Communist Party, CCP. According to CCP's constitution, one man cannot remain for more than 2 terms. Not even 2 terms, even 1 term. Now he's saying for 3rd term. How is that possible? Where did things go wrong? Even the constitution is not strong. CCP constitution is not strong. So you think of these. Don't just hang out with the game. Right? Think of these. Why CCP's constitution is not strong? So that somebody can go beyond the constitution. Constitution is wrong. So many of the countries, where the military coup happens, which the constitution is not strong. So where in the constitution, what is going wrong in the constitution? How to fix this constitution? So why, say the Karl Marx, socialism, while his thoughts are so noble, when he applied this, everything ends up to corruption, everything ends up the authoritarian the regimes. Why? Where did it go wrong? You have to examine these. All this we'll get from the information. Now we have to use the information, the digital world, very in a fruitful way, like this, to explore, to grow yourself, and eventually think of becoming the leader of the world, and then become the Buddha to benefit all the beings, who knows everything. Okay, so this is altruism. With altruism, how will you fix it? How will you take the responsibility? By becoming the fully enlightened being. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. This is Bodhicitta. Okay, we'll stop here.
Krishna, I just had one question.
Yes.
There was an implicit step between number 7 and 8 in equalizing and exchanging self.
Yes.
What's
Yeah.
that implicit step?
Meaning the compassion and the loving kindness.
Between special recollection of the kindness of others and
Yes. Yes.
what was the implicit step?
So that is that the step number 7 and step number 8. Step number 7 is special recollection of kindness of others, but step number 8, altruism. So in between, there's no step indicated. Step 8, step 7, move to step 8. But in between, this compassion and loving kindness must be included. It is there, but it's not explicitly included there. It must be included in your practice.
Parasambhate bodhisvatyata Om gate gate paragate parasambhate bodhisvatyata Om gate gate paragate parasambhate bodhisvatyata